We are holding the new mimer from the Dvar Malchus. It's Avdim, Haynu, Lefari b'Mitzrayim on page, first page of your downloads. The Dvar Malchus, it's page Hey, Shabbos Parshas Tzav, Shabbos Hagodl, Yud Nisan Tafin Chavtes. So we say in the Haggadah, Avdim, Haynu, Lefari b'Mitzrayim, we were slaves to Paro in Mitzrayim. Like Hayno, and Hashem took us out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. If my father, when the Friedrich Rebbe established that we say that our custom is to say Avdim Hayinu on Shabbos Hagadol, this upcoming Shabbos, the Shabbos before Pesach. It's explained about this in the Mamarim. That's called the Siddur. In other words, there's a sefer called Siddur in Dach, Siddur with Chassidus. Now, the Rebbe explains what those Mamarim actually are. Those Mamarim in the Siddur are Drushi Admur Azakin. They are Mamarim from the Alter Rebbe. In Biyurim Me Admur Atzai. It also has in it explanations included in the Maimer, is included explanations of the Mittler Rebbe, and there are notes of the Tzemach Tzedek on. So in the Maimorim, the Siddur, it's explained on the topic of Avdim Hayinu Lefari Mitzrayim. So he has a question, a very basic question. In the movement, seemingly it's not understood. How could there be such an idea, such a concept that we are servants to Pari? How's it shaykh that a Yid should be a servant to Pari? The Yuvan should be understood from what it says in the continuation of the topic. Haynu took us out from there with a strong hand. So he says like this, Haynu, this means to say, when Havaya becomes Elokeinu, our God, so then there could be the idea that he took us out, that we don't have a connection with Mitzrayim, that we're extracted from being slaves to Pari Mitzrayim. But when there's lacking the idea that Havaya is our God, then it could be that we were slaves. Like explained over there in the Siddur Dach, the Mamarim over there, how it's explained at top. So the Rebbe is going to explain it in his manner. What is this idea of the Havaya Lekeinu, and how this, if there's missing that, and there's the Avdim Hayinu and so on. It says in Ois Beis, line 15. Even this to be understood with more explanation. According to what's explained in the Maimon of the Marash, it was said 100 years prior to when the Rebbe said this Maimon. The Rebbe said this Maimon in Tafshin Chavtes 1969. So this is a Maimon from Tafresh Chavtes that the Rebbe Marash is explaining al pasuk on what it says in the pasuk in our parsha. It says b'zois toiras zevach hashlamim, and this is the laws of the shlamim karban. Tzarech lahavin, the Rebbe Marash asked the question. You need to understand masha b'shlamim namar b'zois b'vav. Why by karban shlamim it says and this with the letter vav? Why does it have the vav hamoisiv? But when it comes to carbon chatos, Nemar Zois doesn't say beloiva. Zois taris oil, it says Zois taris achatos without the letter vav. It doesn't say ve Zois taris achatos, ve Zois taris oil. Maybe the first one you don't want to say above. There's no and, but everything following that should be and. Why is it only by shlamim do you have the additional letter vav? And the continuation of the Maimer of the Rebbe Marash, after examining the fact why the carbon oil was specifically supposed to be brought from male animals. Carbon chatas, it says, was specifically had to be brought from female animals. And the shlomim was either a zachar or a nekeva, either male or female animals. Maybe it's Dvar Rabbeinu Bechai. It brings the words of the Rabbeinu Bechai, the Inyan Zeh, in this topic, which actually the Rabbeinu Bechai goes into some things that have to do also with Kabbalah type of concepts, and he explains that it's there's levels that are higher than Zachar and Nekeva, and there's levels of Zachar in the spiritual levels, and the level of Nekeva, and Shlomim is a joining of disparate midas, so therefore you can have Zachar and Nekeva together. Anyway, after bringing down the Bechai, the Rebbe Maharaj speaks at length about explaining what that idea is. Then maybe as Divrei HaMedrash, he brings down what the Medrash says, the Mailas Carbon Shlom, top of the second page of the Maim, page 1. That over there the Medrash speaks about the special advantage and uniqueness of carbon shlomim over the carbon oil and over the carbon chatas. Yesh ba minim harbe. It has in it many kinds. What it means to be many kinds, we'll soon see. Talking about every part of the carbon goes to different types of individuals, as we'll soon explain. The blood and the certain types of fats and limbs, those are burnt up on the mizbeach. The breast of the carbon, the thigh leg, that goes to the koyanim. Of the shlamim, the hide and the rest of the meat, that goes to the owners, to the one who brought the carbon shlamim. I think in the carbon oil should pull them as back, as opposed to carbon oil, that it's entirely something that is oil Hashem, as we'll explain soon. It's completely consumed on the mizbeach. Carbon chatos sheyesh b'chelik b'mizbeach b'chelik b'chayim. The sin offering, it has both for the mizbeach and it has also for the kayanim. But it doesn't have a portion that's assigned for the owner. The carbon shlomim is unique in the fact that it has all these things together. The Medrash explains that's why it's called shlomim. It makes shalom because it joins all these disparate people, all these different people, etc. So the Rebbe is going to explain this more in detail in Oizgim. Line 7. The idea behind this is the offering of the blood and the different limbs and fats upon Mizbeach. The idea of elevation. We're raising it up from below to above. Moshe carbon oil, just like in carbon oil. Since it's entirely consumed for Hashem. Therefore, it's called oila. Oila means going up, because of it's going up above. So therefore, since everything is going up, it's called a carbon oil. So the Rebbe is going to challenge us. Hold on for a second. We know carbonus is not about going up. Every carbon has an idea of going down. He says in line 11, the carbon oil, carbon oil, it says it's a pleasing scent for Hashem. And the Chazal explain what's the idea of scent, what there's scent by Hashem. So he says you have to read Reach Nechoyach as meaning and hinting at Nachas Ruach Lefonai. It's something pleasing before me. It's pleasing of spirit that I said, and my will was fulfilled. So Chassidus explains the word nachas ruach. Nachas is from the word nechois darga. Nechois shows that it's something that's coming down from below to above. I'm sorry, coming down from above to below. It's the idea of drawing down from above to below. So how do you tell me that carbon oil is an idea of only elevation? That's why it's called oil. We find that it's an idea of nachas ruach. It's an idea of coming down. So the Rebbe says you need to look and divide it between the carbon itself and what is the result of the carbon. So he says, line 14, this idea of nachas ruach, that drawing down that follows the offering. That is something that comes down after we offer up the carbon. It's not part of the offering itself. The offering of the carbon itself, that's in the way of above to below to above. The main idea of the offering of the carbon oil is elevating from below to above. And that is why it's called oil, because it's about going up. Entirely that. Nothing is like of the hakrava process has to do with down here below. As opposed to carbon chatos, line 17. Carbon chatos, and in addition to the offering of the blood and the different other limbs and organs, etc., on the mizbech, chewing and halot, that part, the part of the carbon chatos that you're putting on the mizbech, that's about elevation, raising up. But there's also there's also the fact that the kohanim eat from the meat of the carbon, and it's not just a side thing. It's not just we say, you know what, you got to give credit where credit is due. They did work, so you give them a piece of the carbon. No, not just some a piece of the carbon. It's part of the process of kapara. Chazal say, that the koyanim consume the carbon, the koyanim eat from the carbon chatas, but the carbon chatas is a sin offering. It's made for a kapara for the person. And through the koyanim eating, the owners, the one that brings the carbon chatas, are getting atonement for it. So we see that the koyanim's eating is not just some side thing. The koyanim's eating is part of the process of what the hakrava has to accomplish, the kapara for the Bible. So the koyanim eating is just the opposite of what we said about the oila, or the aspect of halam al matal amayla. Koyanim eating is coming down. So in Shalom Shochem amayla matal, it's an idea of drawing down from above to below in a revealed way. Ad l'inyan achila, until the ultimate idea of bringing down from above to below is eating. Why is eating showing I'm bringing down from above to below? It's a type of drawing down that actually becomes internalized in the person, that becomes part of his blood and flesh. So therefore, in carbon chatos, we have two sides of the spectrum. We have both hala and hamshach. Yet, there is an additional component to this by Shlom. Line 25, though in carbon chatas, there is also the idea of drawing down here below in a revealed way. Top of page 9, until and even including the eating, that you have the kahanim eating from the carbon. The kalmag stones all this eating is in a limited way, because the eating is only for kayan. What is the idea of the kayan? Like the Rambam wrote, that the Spirit was giving to him and made him understand about the to separate himself, to stand before Hashem, to serve him. The Skadish Chulu, he's sanctified. V'hi Hashem Chelkim Nachlase, Hashem is his portion and his lot. Therefore, the Kohanim are, with the fact that it's Amshachim Lamata, but they're not the ultimate Mata. They're unique. They're removed from worldly things and so on. Therefore, even the way they're eating down here below, the Chazal used the term that they are like eating on the on the table of Hashem. They're eating from Hashem's table, meaning the whole idea is in a more removed and spiritual state. So it's not really the ultimate drawing down from above to below. So in Shlomim, there's an even greater advantage in the Amshacha than the Karban Chatos. In addition to the elevation that takes place through the offering of the blood and the other parts that are brought on the Mizbeach, in addition to the fact that the Kohanim eat the breast and the thigh, there's an even lower type of drawing down. There's the lower drawing down of that it comes down not only to Kohanim, but also to the owners. That the hide and the meat goes to the owners. This indicates the drawing down of godliness to the lowest most level. And in the next paragraph, he's actually going to explain the different levels that these correspond to, the Hamshachim Lamata of the Kohanim versus the Hamshachim Lamata that takes place when, by Karban Shlomim, the owners eat. Any questions before we get on to the next piece?
Do you start before 6?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Let me see if I can make it a little bit louder. I can't hear you. Hello? You're very faint.
I'm asking what time you're starting the class?
9 o'clock exactly, my time. 6 o'clock your time. Okay, we're holding line 15, second paragraph on page 3. That explain the difference between the Karban Chatas that eaten only for Kohanim, the Karban Shlomim, Shenechel Gam L'Bailim, the Karban Shlomim that's eaten also for the owners. In using the terminology of Kabbalah and Chassidus, it's similar to the difference between the godliness being drawn down only to the world of Atzilus versus godliness being drawn down also to the worlds of Bri Yitzir Asiyah. The world of Atzilus is a world of oneness, a world of unity with Hashem. And this is indicated by what it says, the famous line in Tikkun Zohar, he is one with his life forces, he is one with his bodies, meaning that Malchus is one, the Oris up is one with the Oris, it's one with the Kalim. Haynu, this means as follows. Though in many places it's explained the exact terminology, it says twice iu. Why does it say twice iu? Iu v'chayoy, iu v'garmai. Could have just said iu v'chayoy v'garmai, because the union is different. We differentiate between the union of the Eibishter of the Einsaf with the life forces of Atzilus versus the union of the Eibishter with the bodies of Atzilus. Why is that different? Because the unity, how he is one with the bodies, with the kalim, is not on the same quality and level of the unity that he is. So himself is one with the Oiris, top of page Ches. Still in all, still in all, he is one also with the level of Garmoy, his bodies, his level of the kalim. So therefore, despite the fact that there are different grades and different levels and distinctions of the unity, still in all, Atzilus is about unity regardless. Therefore, the world of Atzilus is called the world of unity. Heiנו, though the world of Atzilus is also called Olam, is also called world, it is still a world of unity. World, on the one hand, indicates its concealment, olam from the word helam, and the fact that it's an olam means that it's already limited. The very nature of a world means that it's limited. But despite all those, if you will, negative concepts of olam, it's an olam ha'achdas. Along with it being olam, it's still one with it. So this is a way how we can understand in the Hamshacha that comes down to the Kayanim. It says in line 4 on page Ches. Zehu Gam in Yom Shal Kayanim. This is also the idea of the Kayanim. The after Nishmas and Yardal Mata, though the Nishama descended down here below, the Kol Makim still in all Kivish and Nadvaruch. Li Bodel Min Yane Olam, since their spirit devoted themselves to separate themselves from worldly matter. So therefore, they are on the level of the world of Atzilus, the way they are down here below. The Koyanim, while being down here below, they are like the world of Atzilus. This is a little bit similar. Obviously, there are differences, but it's a little bit similar to what we spoke about in the previous Maimer, that Moshe Rabbeinu, while being down here below, his type of unity and experience was not Atzilus type of experience. So the Rebbe is saying in a similar vein, again, it's definitely different, but in a similar vein, they are removed from this world. So even while they're in this world, they're removed from this world. So they are similar to the level of Atzilus while being down here in this world. Therefore, just like the revelation of godly light that shines in the world of Atzilus, it affects them. Even the world of Atzilus, that we said all the negative connotations of world, still in all, despite the facts of world, could still be a world of unity, of oneness. And so too, it's in Kehanim. The idea that Avaya is his portion and his lot. Nimshach upoyel b'chol inyaneim. It is drawn down and affects and impacts all their matters. Even in the level of eating, and to such a degree that it also impacts what they eat. That's not just their eating, but their families as well, their household as well. Until there are such karbonas, that's that which is taken off from the karbonas to be given to the kayanim to be eaten. Nechal is eaten it's also eaten by their wives, their children, and even their servants, because these are all members of their household, and that is how elevated the Kayan's household is. It's not just him; his entire surroundings is elevated, and these karbonas that have to do, the parts have to do with the Kayanim are not just limited to the Kayan; it's also to the rest of the house. And all this is the way Damshacha is in the world of Atzilus. That is represented by the Kohanim eating from the carbon chatz. Now, how about the world of Bri Yitzirasi? He says in line 16, in addition to coming down into the world of Atzilus, there also has to be the drawing down the worlds of Bri Yitzirasi. Concerning that, it says from there it separates Haynu shenifsekes hashpa milmayl, that the hashpa is separated from above. Meaning, when you say from there, it is yipare. says concerning the rivers coming out Gan Eden, because that's also the hashpah and biyah is likened to it. That it's separated. The word separation means a disconnect. That the hashpah that came from above is disconnected. You don't have the ihu v'chayoy. That's why in the worlds of Bri Yitzirasi, Hashem is not one with the kalim, with the bodies. The Yisayim is even more so, like it's brought down in many places. That in the worlds of Bri Yitzirasi, even in the oiros of the kalim, even in the life forces of the kalim, over there it's also not evil. In other words, one might think, I can understand in the worlds of Biyah, the Kalim are something separate. But the Oiris is a light or revelation of Hashem, still in all. It's not even Iyuv Chayoy in the worlds of Bri Yitzirasi. And that is the advantage of the Karm Shlom. Line 22. That's the advantage of the Karm Shlomim over the Karm Chatos. Shibakar Chatos, Shachila Hirak. The Karm Chatos, where the eating is only Kayanim are allowed to eat it. It's an indication that what's coming down is only in the world of Atzilus. It can't go further than that. It can't go outside of the realm of Kedusha, like the Kayanim represent that internal type of holiness of Atzilus. And then the Rebbe says an interesting thing. The Lepoil, like we said, the Kainim are here in this world. But even being here in this world, there's the way the world manifests Atzilus. Line 2 on page 10. Even when it comes down to the matters of the world of Bri Yitzirasiyah, this is only the way these worlds of Bri Yitzirasiyah are contained in and part of the world of Atzilus. What does that mean? We know Chassidus always speaks about that there's a scalus of everything. Everything has all the other levels in it. As it's known, that in Atzilus itself, it's already contained in it the matters of the worlds of Bri Yitzirasiyah. Simply put, where then did Bri Yitzirasiyah come from? It had to come from somewhere. Obviously, there's a Bri Yesh Me'ayin and so on, but to a certain degree, there are aspects of Bri Yitzirasiyah part of the world of Atzilus. And that is the way the Koyanim are functioning here in this world, the way Biyah is part of Atzilus. And the fact that we say that there's Biyah, the way it's part of Atzilus, is specifically so, Befrat B'Sfiras HaMalchus, especially in Sfiras HaMalchus, that in Kabbalah is brought down, Shalachein Yeshla, Shivim Shemus, it has 70 names, it's brought down in Kabbalah, Sfiras HaMalchus, the number 70 indicates the worlds, the 7 midas times 10. So it shows that Malchus, by the 70 names, it already has in it the names of the powers of all that energy that's going to be in the worlds of Biyah. That's all Karm Chatos, the way the Kayanim eat. But in the Karm Shlom, that's eaten not just by the Kayanim, but also by the owners, also by the Bailim, Azayam Shacha, he loidak ba'ilam Atzilus. Then the Amshach is not just in the world of Atzilus, Alagam Lamata ba'ilam Bri Yitzirasiyah, but also down here in the worlds of Bri Yitzirasiyah. Any questions?
So the Kohanim or Kali?
The Kohanim are the expression, the manifestation of how that is coming down here in this world.
Just by who they are or by what they do?
Yeah, by both who they are and by what they do. So they express a drawing down of godliness in this world that's not totally of this world, that's only like an Atzilus type of way in this world.
Does that apply to a Bas Cohen?
Does that apply to Bas Koil?
Bas Cohen.
Bas Kohen, I don't know. but it said before that the Kohenim's effect also impacts the rest of the family as well. Also the Levi